On this page, we're going to be talking about something that I'm really passionate about, the way revolutionary founders build unstoppable communities. I'm talking about the engagement pillar of the Brandem operating system. The truth is, transformative founders don't sell products. They spark movements. And that's the essence of what we are exploring today. So, what is the engagement pillar? When I talk about engagement, I'm not referring just to social media metrics or how many likes you get. That's surface level thinking. I'm talking about engineering a community so powerful it becomes the engine that drives your growth. It's where your customers transform into a force that expands your market for you. Let's take a look at how, for example, Peloton turned exercise equipment buyers into passionate fitness community. They didn't just sell bikes and stuff. They created a movement where members push each other forward. That's the power of real engagement. Why does engagement matter? Now, founders obsess over community size, right? More members, more posts, more activity. They chase vanity metrics. Okay. The uncomfortable truth, 9 out of 10 brands never create self-sustaining communities because they focus on numbers instead of movement mechanics. When your engagement is lacking, you're kind of constantly pushing content at passive consumers. Your community depends entirely on your energy to survive. Members connect with you, but rarely with each other. Growth requires constant marketing rather than the organic kind of spread. But then, if you flip the script, when your engagement kind of hits 120 points or more on our framework, everything changes. Your community becomes self-sustaining. Members kind of, they create value for each other. Your growth becomes organic as the community itself does the marketing for you. The engagement equation combines 4 critical factors that work together to create unstoppable community power. Number 1, community core. This is the kind of foundation of value, trust, and belonging that powers everything. Now, look at CrossFit. They created such a strong sense of identity and belonging that members don't just work out, they evangelize. The community core is so strong that members kind of tattoo the brand logo on their bodies. That's not marketing, that's identity. Number 2, activation architecture. These are the systems that transform passive members into active contributors. Like Wikipedia. They built clear pathways that guide people from kind of casual readers to occasional editors to dedicated contributors. They've engineered participation, not just consumption. Number 3, movement growth. These are mechanisms that spread your community and sustain its momentum. Look at Spotify. They have the year-end kind of wrapped feature. This is specifically designed to be shared, creating natural kind of expansion as users spread their music tastes across social networks. They pull in new members organically. Number 4, network effect multiplier. This is the amplifying power that makes kind of your community more valuable with each new member. That's what made Airbnb revolutionary. Each new host added more options for travelers, attracting more travelers, which then attracted more hosts. It's a loop. The self-reinforcing cycle created exponential rather than linear growth. When we map your community kind of strategy, we get a visual representation that reveals creative kind of and critical insights. like the core value exchanges between members and the community, the participation pathways from passive observer to active contributor, the growth vectors driving community expansion, the connection networks linking members together. This visualization kind of uncovers interesting patterns, like some brands build resource-centered communities with strong value but limited identity. Others create identity-centered communities with strong belonging but limited impact. Some develop creator-centered communities where members build and contribute, and others focus on network-centered communities organized for member connections. The most powerful communities balance all these elements. When you nail your engagement kind of strategy, it transforms your entire business, and you will see that marketing costs plummet as member advocacy drives acquisition. Retention skyrockets because leaving means abandoning relationships, not just the product. Customer lifetime value multiplies through deeper interaction and expanded usage. Product development accelerates through direct community feedback and co-creation. Market leadership becomes unassailable as competitors can't easily replicate your community bonds. This is something many founders kind of don't grasp, and that is that community building isn't a side activity. It's a fundamental business strategy that transforms your economic model. Building powerful communities follows a natural kind of progression. In the first 3 months, you focus on establishing your core foundation, defining kind of the unique value that drives initial participation, creating basic trust mechanisms, and designing your primary engagement pathways. From month 3 to 6, you develop your activation systems. You're kind of formalizing progression paths. You're creating impactable contribution opportunities. And you're building recognition systems that reward participation. From month 6 to 12, you're expanding your kind of movement. You're developing member-driven growth mechanisms. You're enhancing retention systems. And you're beginning to transfer ownership to community leaders. Beyond the first year, amplify your network effects, optimizing connections between members, enhancing value multiplication as you grow, and implementing scaling protections to preserve quality. This is where a lot of brands break down. Now, of course, different businesses naturally gravitate toward different kind of community models. You have different kind of community models like resource communities, right? These are like GitHub and Notion. They focus on sharing valuable tools and information, building ecosystems of member contributions. You have identity communities like Peloton or Harley Davidson. They create deep belonging around shared values, developing identification with community culture. Then you have creator communities like Patreon or Roblox, right? They empower members to build and contribute, transferring the platform ownership to member creators. Then you have network communities like LinkedIn and Airbnb. They focus on connecting members for mutual benefit, maximizing value through optimized connections. Your engagement strategy doesn't exist in isolation. It's built on the foundation of the previous pillars, such as your truth force from the beacon pillar directly shapes your community identity. Your audience psychographics from the resonance pillar, it impacts how you develop belonging. Your movement mechanics from the authority pillar strengthen your cultural ownership. Your memory lock from the narrative pillar enhances your retention power. Your experience architecture from the delivery pillar guides how you design participation. And in turn, your engagement powers your momentum, creating sustainable growth. Okay, let me leave you with this essential understanding. Revolutionary founders have figured out that the most powerful marketing isn't what you say about your product. It's what your community says and does, because they can't imagine life without your brand. The most successful companies in history, they didn't just accumulate customers. They built movements where members drive the growth, they drive innovation, and they drive market expansion. Your engagement strategy isn't about getting more likes or comments. No, it's about engineering a community so powerful that it becomes your competitive advantage. I encourage you to evaluate your current engagement score. Use the framework. Are you building a passive audience, or are you creating a movement that drives itself? In the end, the brands that dominate their markets are not those with the biggest ad budget. They're the ones that transform customers into communities that no competitor can replicate. All right, on this page, you have everything you want to know about the engagement pillar. You have the engagement equation, which is made up of components. Each component has a sub-equation. And don't be afraid of these equations. They represent all the forces, all the puzzle pieces of creating a revolutionary engagement strategy, which gives you a community that's going to give you success. If you have any questions, just hit me up on LinkedIn or X. My name is Mash Bodhigala.